name is Sean Ong, and it is truly my pleasure to serve as your moderator for tonight's program. So, without further ado, let me introduce to you our first two panelists. One is Mr. Tony Phua. He's our former Member of Parliament, as we all know. And of course, we have Yiing. She is currently the Member of Parliament for Puchong, and of course, our former Minister of Mastak. So, I shall first pass the mic to Mr. Tony Phua, Saudara Tony Phua, for his sharing.
Thank you very much. Can I suggest that those at the entrance, to prevent others who are coming in a bit later not being able to come in, there are still seats, 2 seats right here in front. This is prime seats. I don't charge extra for prime seats. Come on forward, sit here. Or those at the back, feel free to move forward so those latecomers can sit at the back. 2 nice seats in front. I have a lot of data, so for those with eyesight problems, you might want to sit in front, otherwise you cannot read. Thank you. Come. Eyesight issue. You get clear view of the charts and numbers I have. Our volunteers perhaps should sit right at the side here, plenty of seats on the side so that you don't block the doorway. Come. A lot of seats here by the side. Come. The side here. On the left also a lot. There will be latecomers as usual, so let's give some room to them to come in. Come. A lot of little cushions on the side here. Come forward. Come. Do I have to pay 10 ringgit for you to come forward? Okay, clear up a bit. So those at the back, just move forward. And I prefer to stand to speak. A very good evening to everyone. My name is Tony Phua, if you don't know me. I retired quite a few years already. Many people may have forgotten. Although sometimes I do make some inappropriate noises that get myself into a little bit of pickle. Okay, tonight I'm here to share with you a little bit about Malaysia going forward, and Malaysia, what we have perhaps achieved in a short time over the last 3 or 4 years. The main context I will focus on, I'll leave the other context to my other speakers, but I'll focus a bit more on the economy. And I'm actually very optimistic about the economy. That doesn't apply uniformly across the board for everyone. You meet many people today, not just in Johor, you meet in KL, in Selangor, elsewhere. People are somehow a little bit despondent. People are somehow a little bit pessimistic. People are somehow a little bit cynical. There are more seats in front. Come. Don't be shy. Lie. No shy. Very good. Come. There are more seats up here. Lie. Come. There, sister. Okay. And to be honest, I sometimes don't know how to respond anymore. It is very human that when not 100% of what you want gets achieved, you get disappointed, cynical, and pessimistic. I look at things pretty much half a glass full rather than half a glass empty. In fact, I think it's 3/4 glass full. There are a lot of things we can still improve, but I think we have done a lot of good. A lot of good that I believe, had we not changed government in 2018, in 2023, many of these good would not have been realized today. So I'm going through some of the economic stuff about the Malaysian bread and butter stuff that you may or may not have seen or may not have focused on. And I think that these are points, I know many of you are already supporters, but these are points that you have, that you should use as bullets to go out there and tell all the other uncle and aunties out there, all your children and relatives out there, all your friends and neighbors out there, to tell them that things are moving in the right direction. Perhaps not as fast as we all would like to be, but it is definitely moving in the right direction. How to move next? What do? Do I click? Who controls? I just tap, is it? Okay. Okay. Now, okay, I'll use the notebooks here. I went Singapore after a long time, just 2 days ago. Next door, met some of my friends, both Singaporeans and ex-Malaysians. There was one ex-Malaysian, my classmate when I was in Singapore. She was from Batu Pahat, same as me, my age. ASEAN scholar, married Singaporean, stayed there. And she asked me this question. Malaysia is doing very well, right? All the news outside, Malaysia is doing very well. Why are the people so unhappy? Why do they want to change government? Because they are unhappy. Everything they read outside is a lot of positives that we are doing. But somehow, people within Malaysia, they are a bit very reluctant to be happy. If you are looking at economic performance, this is overall GDP figures, economic growth figures. Okay, of course, 2020, COVID, that was negative. And post-2020, there's a boom up. This is a typical reaction to a contraction before. And of course, we borrowed a lot of money to boost the economy during this period. So our debts go up a lot. So this is a typical example of post-recession, post-debt-filled boom. So if you government borrow a lot of money, spend a lot of money, there will be a short-term boom in the economy. Okay, so this is the debt-filled growth. After that, you normalize. And then for the last 3 years, our growth has been 5.1, 5.2, and the first quarter this year, 5.4%. Now, growth numbers above 5%, to be honest, I have not heard in a long time. Most of the time, even during the good years that people so-called, oh, I still look forward to Najib coming back. Those years were 4 point something. Those years were 4 point something. And those Najib years, 4 point something, he basically cooked the economy with a lot of hidden debt. Now, I spoke a lot in my many years ago. He cooked a lot of off-balance sheet debt. He did a lot of projects, whether it's 1MDB or even MRTs, and a lot of projects like that with budgets that are not in the official budget. So he borrowed money off balance sheet to boost the economy. And what you get is 4 point something percent. What we have today, 5.1, 5.2, 5.3, you can see we are achieving it by at the same time reducing our budget deficits. So we are not boosting growth by printing money. We are actually boosting growth with sufficient demand and investment in the economy. That is the overarching basic principle that's happening today. Next. Inflation. So if you are usually pumping money in the economy, one of the key, consequence of that, the basic economics, you pump a lot of money in, prices go up. Okay? And Malaysia, again, is a perfect example of stable prices over the past 3 years. Green color is latest, 2026 first quarter. Red color is 2024. Blue color is 2025. So 2024, 25, and 2026. Okay, we are 1.8, 1.4, 1.7%, well below the 2% target. Now everyone complains about rising prices. Nobody I speak to don't complain about rising prices. We all complain. We all want prices to go down. But I tell you, if any economy, all prices go down, the economy is shit really. Die really. Okay? Because, like it or not, mild inflation, that means plus minus around 2%, is actually a good stimulus to keep the economy running. You cannot help it. You need that 2%. And that's why in the States, you have the Federal Reserve, where they set a benchmark. They always target a 2% inflation rate. Too high, they try to press it down. Too low, they lower interest rate to boost it up back to 2%. You need that 2% to keep the economy chugging along, to make sure you have growth, and to make sure that you have more job opportunities for our next generation, our newer group. So we are in that perfect range, 1.5 to 2% range, for Malaysia. Whereas if you look at the other countries, in these few years, the global tariff war in the States, then after that, US going to attack Iran stupid Trump, and they are causing all sorts of problems all around the world. I don't have every country represented here. You have UK, sort of Europe. Europe's inflation is actually even higher. Some, France, Germany going up to 4-5%. Australia is heading to 4.6% this quarter. Philippines is high. Only Thailand in the region is lower than us. Only Thailand in the region is lower than us. And that's actually not good news. They are lower than us because they are actually facing economic contraction issues. Okay? They are having growth problems. Something I'll talk about a bit later about our neighbors, but they are actually having growth problems. Demand is shrinking, and that's why they are having milder inflation. So they have a separate set of problems. The rest of the countries you have out here, Indonesia, Vietnam, Australia, all have much higher inflation. So it's about relative. Sometimes when global oil prices rise, prices are going to go up no matter how good your government is going to be. The question is, how do we manage the prices going up? The better you manage, the lesser the impact will be. But impact, there will be. Cannot run away on. Inflation is like taxes. You live, die, you will have to pay taxes. Same thing for inflation. Next myself lah. Last time got coolie, now no coolie. As a case study related to inflation, this is fuel prices across the world. Fuel prices, this is the latest prices I can get, closest to RON 95, because that's the benchmark that we have. Okay. Global oil prices have gone up. We kept our prices to 1.99 per liter. RON 95. Okay? I'm comparing here against our neighbors, Indonesia, Vietnam, the oil producers, Saudi Arabia, UAE, of course the advanced countries, United States, Australia, our neighbors, Philippines, Thailand, UK, and of course, fantastic Singapore. We all love Singapore so much, we pay 10 ringgit per liter. Always come here goyang kaki. Okay? 5 times our rate. 5 times our rate. Now you can argue whether we should be subsidizing petrol or not subsidizing petrol. That's a separate debate. There's plus and minus to it. I can have another session on forum just to talk about the pros and cons of the subsidy. But the fact of the matter is we managed to, despite the big hike in global fuel prices, we managed to maintain our prices at 1.99 without a single international financial analyst or agency, whether it's Moody's, Standard & Poor's, or Fitch. None of them expressed any concern or worry that Malaysia will collapse because we maintain this subsidy. None. No one mentioned any concern at all. They would rather, of course, if we don't maintain the subsidy. That's always their position. But no one expressed concern that our fiscal position will collapse. Malaysia will suffer. Our whatever problems will arise because we spent more money so far this year, about almost 8 billion ringgit, okay, to maintain the subsidies and keep the prices at 199. Only Brunei is cheaper than us. You take Brunei out of the equation, they are an exception. Okay? Only Brunei, even Indonesia, other than for a limited amount of Pertamax is actually RON 90, it's not even RON 95. RON 95 in Indonesia now is 4 ringgit 60 cents. 4 ringgit 60 cents in Indonesia. Okay? Even Indonesia, they cannot maintain. Why they couldn't maintain that subsidy for the other fuel? They have to increase the prices by about 30%. Simple reason is international pressure. Every single international agency is watching Indonesia like a hawk, preparing to downgrade them if they don't control their finances, because they have no room to maneuver. We have room to maneuver because we have been managing our budgets a lot more prudently than the other countries around the region. So we have room to maneuver. This room, whether you say should go to subsidy or go to something else, that's, like I said, a different debate. But we have the room to maneuver, to make policy choices that other countries do not have. And then this is something that to be honest, the next few slides are things that I'm extremely proud of. Being a Malaysian is something you're proud of when you achieve something. And these are things that, despite the fact that I have sort of retired from frontline politics, I'm very proud of these achievements. Okay? This is number one, a tourism powerhouse. In Southeast Asia, for decades, which is the number one tourist country in Southeast Asia? Thailand. By far. Every single year is Thailand. Okay? And then you hear Bali, Indonesia. But Thailand is number one. Okay? But for the first time ever, 2025, now the green line is Malaysia. The red line is Thailand. Of course, during COVID, everything came down and then it recovered. And if you look at Malaysia's line, we are jumping year by year, not by 5%, 10%, but leaps and multiples. Here, 20%. Here, another 40%. Up from 25 million in 2024 to 38 million in 2025. Massive jump. And it is still going up because this is just the first quarter numbers, 10 million in the first quarter alone. This is the Visit Malaysia year, 10 million, and we are ahead, well ahead of Thailand. Now this is an achievement that I did not expect to happen. Some things you just give lah. Some people are just better lah. Just as Singaporeans will be richer than us, I give it up lah. Singaporeans will just be richer than us. I'm not going to say that we will try to be as rich as Singaporeans. There's some things you just given. But in this case, this was a surprise. We actually overtook Thailand. And we overtook Thailand not just in overall tourists, we also overtook Thailand in terms of China tourist arrivals. I don't know whether 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you have been to Thailand. I did. I went to Phuket, I think 10, 12 years ago with my family. You go to one of those small beaches. They have nice beaches, pretty beaches, but very small one. A mini cove, and then there's a nice beach. But the problem is going to those beaches is you don't see the beach. You see deck chairs. They line up deck chairs all across the entire beach, so you don't see a plain white beach. You will see a plain white beach if you take a picture, put it to AI, erase all the deck chairs. You see the deck chairs there? They're all, half-seated. Why half-seated? Because the other half are in the water. In the water is arm's length. Me and you, arm's length. All arm's length. You cannot swim, man. Because next to me is this guy. I push out my hand, I hit someone else. All Chinese tourists. After that, I swear I'll never go Thailand again. I swear I'll never go Phuket again. That was Phuket. Okay. But that was then. Now the Chinese tourists are realizing, we have gone to the wrong country. Welcome our calon for Johor Jaya, Saudari Wen Jing. What was I going to say? Chinese tourists. I've always wondered, Malaysia got such a huge, significant Chinese population who can speak Chinese. Chinese tourists don't come to Malaysia. They go to Thailand where the Chinese don't even know they are Chinese anymore. They go Thailand. They can't speak the language. They can't communicate. And yet they go Thailand. They should be coming to Malaysia. That was in the past. That's why I always thinking, why they never come to Malaysia? But now they are coming. Malaysia beat Thailand for the first time in Chinese tourist arrivals last year. And this year, we are still on track. Now this brings me slightly to a few slides ahead where people asked me in the past when I was in MOF 2018, 2019, and 1 month in 2020, so 22 months there. One of the things that we were working on was on tourism. Why were we working on tourism? Because everyone was complaining about our currency, ringgit, being very weak. But in economics, one of the fastest way to boost up your currency is tourist arrivals, because it's immediate currency exchange. It's not even long term, it's immediate currency exchange. It's one of the reasons why in the past, Thailand, even when the rest of the economy is not doing well, the currency stays strong because of tourism. Okay? So we wanted to boost the tourism sector, which is happening today and is contributing significantly. Not the only reason, but it contributes to the fact that we have much better currency pricing today. Okay? Next. One of the consequences of higher tourism numbers, higher business numbers is KLIA. Last time we used to laugh about KLIA. Mahathir built this big airport and then nobody comes on. Now you go KLIA. I don't know how many of you have been to KLIA recently. Okay? If you go KLIA, every corner, every space they find. Last time very vast and sparse. Japanese airport, very vast and sparse. Now every corner that you find got pop-up store, got shops, got people selling things, all corners trying to sell you right from after you pass the immigration gate, straight away all the stores come out already. Why? Nobody will rent those stores if there's no business. They are renting those stores because passenger traffic is very high. KLIA is now very crowded. Okay? In fact, we are looking to how to expand the KLIA terminal at this point. I explain the chart. If you look at Malaysia, Malaysia is green color again. Green doesn't stand for pass. Green color again, COVID goes down, and then it goes up right here. Okay, right here, it overlaps with the airport that is previously the next highest after Singapore. Again, one of those things that Singapore Changi Airport is going to have more traffic. You just give Singapore will be number one. Okay, let's not talk about Changi. Okay, we talk about two other countries, Thailand and Indonesia, in terms of passenger volume. Why Indonesia? Because Indonesia is made of islands. Air traffic is part of their domestic transportation system. So they have high passenger numbers in Indonesia. Thailand, because it was the next interconnecting center for this region, as well as tourism to Thailand. Now, for the first time ever in 2025, our passenger arrivals in KLIA overtakes Suvarnabhumi in Bangkok. We have 63.3 million passengers, Bangkok 62.9 million. And it is an achievement. When I read it in the news, I was impressed. I'm not easily impressed, but I know people always say you're very cocky, you think you are the smartest. But when I saw that, I was very impressed. Okay, that KLIA now is right there, 63.3. Singapore, 70 million. And the growth rate that we have, if we maintain this trajectory, and you have Singapore here, we might, I dare not dream, we might, in a couple of years' time, hit the same level as Changi. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Cannot imagine many years ago where we have come. In terms of OAG Global Connectivity Rankings, this is official airlines group they have these annual rankings on connectivity. That means how you connect to different destinations across the region. We are number 4 in the world. Number 4 in the world after London, Istanbul, Amsterdam. And Singapore, I think, is number 11. Okay. This one, we beat Singapore for a simple reason. We have Air Asia. Air Asia flies to a lot of places that people don't want to fly to. So our connectivity is high. Okay? But that makes us a great transit hub for global travelers. Not just for people wanting to come Malaysia, but for people who want to travel to this region. Okay? It improves our KL's connectivities. Not just the flights, our ports. Now, ports don't become big because we pay money and make them big. Ports become big because there's actually traffic around the port. That means containers moving in and out of the port. Okay? For many, many years, we were stuck at 12. The 12th busiest port in the world. Not bad, because we are an exporting trading nation. Malaysia has always been a trading nation. But we have always been stuck on 12. In fact, in 2023, we dropped to 13. The year of the report is the ranking of the year before. So 2023 is the ranking on 2022. 2022 is the rank. The 2022 ranking is the volume for 2021. So it's always the year before. We dropped to 13 in 2023, went up to 11 2024, and now we are 10th. The 10th busiest port in the world. Now, what will make it a bit more interesting? Who did we replace at number 10? We replaced Hong Kong. We replaced Hong Kong as the 10th busiest port, okay, in the world. And if you again look at the actual top 10 ports and you realize how big the achievement might be, out of the top 10 ports, 6 ports are in China. That tells you how big China is. That tells you that China is really the manufacturing hub for the rest of the world. But we are in the 4 other countries. Singapore number 2. We have got Busan, Korea, Jebel Ali in Dubai, and then Port Klang is number 10. The other chart that you don't have here, if you're looking at by country level, the container volumes by country level, we are actually number 4 in the world. Why number 4? Because 10th at number 15 is Port of Tanjung Pelepas. If you add 10 and 15 together by country, of course China will be number 1, we will end up at 4th highest trading volume in the world. That trading volume is proof that our ports are working, and it's proof that our manufacturing, our economy is actually running. It's all that you cannot run away one. If your economy is not running, your ports are empty. I don't want to, online, so I should not say out loud. I want to comment on some ports in Malaysia, but I better keep quiet. Okay, yeah, so that's the ports. Investments. Investments are coming in and coming in and coming in. Okay, these are numbers that you see. Okay, I don't know how many of you have purchased or even read the book I wrote when early days of my political career. I think came out in 2010 or 2011. The Tiger That Lost Its Roar. Okay, that is my book. It should be in some museum somewhere today. One of the core theses in that book is actually our declining foreign direct investments. Our declining foreign direct investments. In the 1990s or the late 80s, we were the tiger in the region, in Asia, tiger of Asia. So the tiger that lost its roar is because we were a tiger in the 80s and we lost our roar. That's why our as a result of our foreign investments falling. Falling relative to our neighbors and falling in absolute terms. Okay? And the reason for that, part of the reason for that is because in the 80s and 90s, we were attracting some of the top tech companies to come and invest in Malaysia. Intel, HP, Dell, Oracle, maybe not Oracle, Toshiba, the Japanese, they're all here. But in the late 90s, 2000s, China opened up and then money all went to China. So we didn't manage to retain a lot of, we still have, but not as much as before and barely allow us to keep drifting along. Not bad, but just drifting along in the late 90s, 2000s. But it has come roaring back. It has come roaring back, and the investments you are hearing today, and Johor is one of the biggest beneficiaries, obviously, in IT, semiconductors, and AI. Your data centers are huge in Johor. I'll tell you how huge later, but your data centers, Andrew, come. Saudara Andrew, welcome. Okay, so the investment numbers are now highest on record by far. Imagine in 2020, when we sort of the 2020, this period when we first took over from the BN government. Okay, this is the first time we won in 2018. These are slight lag numbers. We're looking at an estimate of around 200 million. 200 billion. 200 billion, sorry. 200 billion per annum. And we are now looking in 2025 more than doubling that. More than doubling that. Okay? And it is creating huge amount of economic activity. And all these are not numbers that have come in already, but they are all progressively coming in. They'll accumulate and they'll actually bring growth to Malaysia. It's one of the biggest driving factors why 90s we were growing so fast. Okay? And these are all very important and to me, very early stage investments that will bring even more down the road. Okay? We became big because Intel came in first. But once Intel came in, everyone else wants to follow. Now the same thing is happening. We got Amazon coming in, we got Microsoft here, we have got Google. Google is in Selangor here. Once they are here, all the other smaller players in IT industry, hey, why is all the big players in Malaysia, they will all want to follow. They follow the big players. Okay, they all want to come here. And this, to me, is one of the reasons why I'm actually very optimistic about Malaysia's economy going forward. Because these numbers will have some impact today, but they will have greater impact in the years to come. So when people ask me whether I'm optimistic or not about Malaysia's economy, I am very optimistic, at least for the next 5 to 10 years. At least for the next 5 to 10 years. Okay? And as a result of all those investments, tourism and stuff, you all would have seen this. I just put it in a chart for you so that you can see clearer, that's all. Okay? We are the top performing currency of the region, of Asia. Okay? Relative to we use US dollar as the benchmark, we appreciated last year 10%. Okay? Against USD. The worst was Indonesia, down 3.6%. Singapore up 6.4%. That's why we are still appreciated against the Singapore dollar. Okay? So this is in part because the US was facing lower interest rates, so people are selling US dollars, buying foreign currency. But a comparison against our peers shows how much people prefer the ringgit relative to the other currencies in the region. If everyone increased 10% against US dollar, then it's just because of US, not because of us. But we have actually appreciated significantly higher than everyone else in the region against the US dollar. Because of tourism, because of investments, because of confidence in our economy. Okay? One of the other points that I talked about in my book in the past was comparison against our neighbors. If you go back to, if you can find my old drama videos, the old drama videos that I did, I was always talking about how Thailand and Indonesia are catching up to Malaysia. How they are catching up to Malaysia. And if we don't wake up, they will soon overtake us. I talked about it all the time, especially in the first 5 to 10 years of my political career, 2008 to 2015, around that period. Okay? But now, if you look at the region, you look at the region, like what my friend said, we are the shining beacon in the region. Even finally, Singaporeans are looking up to us. Even finally, Singaporeans are looking up. They are always looking down at us. They are still looking down at us, but they are giving us, that statement coming now. You also can. Having studied there, I know them very well. But look at Indonesia. Once they have a bad government come in, once they have bad policies coming in, everyone run. Indonesia is struggling. Their rupiah collapsed like nobody's business. Their banks are taking money out of the country. Their corporations are taking money out of the country. No one wants to go invest in Indonesia anymore. The only investments they get, and they still get, are those in the primary industry. Mining, for example. Commodities, for example. Not in the IT, AI, semiconductors field that we are getting in Malaysia. In Thailand, they also keep changing government. Hopefully we won't get repeats of that, but they also keep changing government. They keep bringing down democratically elected governments. Okay? And their policies, economic policies, are bringing themselves pain, and they are stuck in a rut as well. They are also stuck in a rut. I'm not here to talk about Thailand. We can have another lecture on Thailand's economy. I will cover, I spoke about it because that was Q&A. Yeah. So they face different problems in Thailand, and their economy is stuck. If you read economic reports about Thailand now, they'll tell you all the problems about Thailand's economy. Okay? But we are doing well on nearly all fronts of our economy. That's why we are the beacon. Everyone is looking to us now. Okay? Okay. Actually, this is my last slide. Johor is one of the biggest beneficiary of this change of government that has taken place over the past 5 years, 8 years. We have managed to, I remember I myself talking to the people from AWS, Amazon Web Services, trying to convince them to sign the investment agreement to bring their data center into Malaysia. And they were looking at Johor, Kulai Sedenak area, Amazon Web Services. Okay? Then when the Sheraton move happened, the whole thing died. And after that, it came back alive again, and they signed, and they're bringing money into Johor. Okay? There's NVIDIA, YTL partnership to bring their data center also to Johor, Princeton Data Center Group, Digital Group, and Microsoft. Now, the data center capacity planned, or based on all the agreements that have been signed, for Johor is more than 3,000 megawatt. I know you all out there will be asking me, what's the meaning of 3,000 megawatt? Maybe it's very small. Maybe it's very big. How big? Don't know. But 3,000 megawatt, don't take my word for it. You can Google, you can AI, ask ChatGPT nowadays. 3,000 megawatt will make Johor, just Johor, don't talk about data centers in the rest of Malaysia, just Johor alone, among the top 3 data center regions in the entire world. The current biggest data center cluster is in North Carolina in the United States, also 3,000 plus. The second biggest is in Inner Mongolia, China, where they service your ByteDance, your Tencent, your Alibaba, all the Chinese AI companies, okay, out of Inner Mongolia. And this is coming close or equivalent to these largest data center clusters in the entire world. So it is not small. It's not a token investment by all these companies into Malaysia just because they need to have something in Malaysia. It's actually a regional size data center to service the entire region, or even supplement what they have in the rest of the world. It is huge. And of course, this coming will have its, trickle-down effect on all the rest of the economy, from employment to property to construction to F&B. Everything else will move along as this grows. Okay? Can we handle 3,000 megawatt at the moment? At the moment, no. I think Andrew can tell you that we can't. Okay? We have enough electricity. Electricity, not too much of a problem, plus whatever they are building. We don't have enough water yet. But this 3,000 watt is not going to come online tomorrow. It's going to come online over the next 5 years to 8 years. And that is sufficient time for us to plan to make sure that we have enough water to cater to everyone. Okay? So they would not come in if they know that we don't have enough resources. We have enough resources, we don't have enough processed resources. So that's what we need to do to process sufficient resources to make sure that not only you can drink water, data centers also can drink water. Okay? Johor, Singapore Special Economic Zone. That's another one of my favorite subjects, because this is a topic that is as brainless as you can get. Brainless meaning don't even need to think lah. Singapore, Johor must collaborate. They have no land, we have land. They have money, we have no money. This is the best partnership we can get. You know, everyone can think of Hong Kong, Shenzhen. No, how Shenzhen grew because of Hong Kong. Hong Kong got no land, Shenzhen plenty of land. No, Hong Kong got money, Shenzhen that time no money. Okay, and they grew. It is as synergistic as you can ever get. And it's not new, because I remember when I was secondary school, when Goh Chok Tong was still the Prime Minister of Singapore. I still remember the growth triangle that he was pushing back then. Growth triangle is where? Singapore, Johor, and Riau Islands, right? The growth triangle never took off. No, never took off. Why it never took off? Because sometimes Singaporeans too cocky, sometimes we all also very rough. Remember Tun Dr. Mahathir? He has this love for Singapore. You know, they fight. Of course, Lee Kuan Yew also don't want to give in. They both fight. The number one fight was over what? Water. The number one fight was over water. Well, they fight like it is the single biggest, most important, most principled thing in the world. Every day front page newspaper. I was that time studying in Singapore. Every day front page of the Straits Times. Every day front page. 2018, I went into MOF. Pun Dr. Mahathir PM again. Water issue came up again. Not so difficult this time, but it came up again. Okay? And then I got to read the details that other people don't get to read. And then you get to calculate what's the actual amount. You know, Mahathir say, Singapore pay so cheap for water, they should pay more. Singapore say, you sign the agreement at this price, you cannot raise the price after that. But the difference in price that we are talking about, you know what's the actual difference in price a year? 20 or 25 million ringgit. Drop in the water ocean. Drop of water in the ocean for Singapore. Tiki Nyenge don't want to give in. 20 million ringgit also don't want to give. Really a drop in the ocean. Even Yobin can afford. Don't talk about Singapore. Refuse. And for 20 million Mahathir, like Singapore should pay more. Two stubborn old men so never get solved. But now we actually signed the Special Economic Zone Agreement. Johor and Singapore is something that I look forward to because it will benefit both countries. Our side, definitely, we have our reservations, but we always want to push for them to recognize, to allow capital to come in. Singapore not enough land, bring their capital, come in, build factories in Malaysia. Malaysian workers don't have to travel to Singapore anymore. Our workers are here, why make them travel to Singapore, pass through customs every day? Stupid people. Singaporeans, I go there, I also scold them. You don't know how to 做朋友. Brother lah, sometimes you give and take. As long as both sides make money, you happy already. No, that's why I tell them Singaporeans, Malaysians very different. We all, as long as you make money, I make money, we do business together, Happy. They all must calculate, you cannot make more than me. I invest 10%, you invest only 10%, you can only take 10% of the profit. 15% beside, proportionate. Argue over the I's and the T's, dotting lines and stuff like that. Nothing ever gets done. No goodwill. I always go to Singaporeans, you want to do business, you must learn to do goodwill. Learn to win the trust of the Malaysian leaders. You got so much money, what? Extra give a bit, huh? Malaysians like to take money, huh? Give a bit of money, then everyone happy with you, lah. Don't be like the Israel in the Middle East, Singapore can be the big brother for all of us, as long as you know how to take care of all of us. You take care of us, then you become good friends. And I always scold them. You go all the way to China to set up industrial plant, then you get scammed. You go all the way to invest in US, then kena scammed by all the crypto people. You build factories and stuff in Vietnam, not so far, but still kena scam. All half-big success. You have our neighbors right here where you can invest your money and grow and watch over your investment very carefully. Just cross the border, you can watch your investment already. Don't have to go so far. Build in Johor, and I'm very happy for this to be actually happening. It won't come tomorrow, but the fact that now that it's signed, the deal, the framework is in place, more and more companies are already coming in. You already hear of news of people moving their factories from Singapore into Johor. Gardenia, I don't like to hear because it's not so high-tech, but it is an example of what is happening. Okay? I spoke to a Singaporean friend in Singapore, and they all say, and this is one guy not only say, he bought a house in Johor already, Klang Patah. This is where he's going to retire. This is where he's going to retire, and he's not going to be the only one. The trend will be reversing. I spoke to my fellow Malaysian friends, ex-Malaysian friends in Singapore. They were discussing old age. We all already start talking, all the conversations start talking about old things. Either your blood pressure, your cholesterol level, or when you retire, where you're going to be. All these people start worrying, hey, we give up our Malaysian citizenship, do you think we will have a problem getting the Malaysia, my second home, coming back here? Can we still come back to Malaysia? They talk about nursing home costs in Singapore. This one they were talking about, this one I was quite surprised, quite juicy to hear. The top end are really the super rich one. You know how much their nursing home care? This was somewhere in Thomson. Got all the facilities, everything. Per month, 17,000 Sing dollars. 1 month. Then they were saying, in JB, somewhere in the town center, on top of one of the, I can't remember which building really they're talking about. Holiday Plaza, that's right. Holiday Plaza. Very cheap. 8,000 ringgit only. Very cheap. You hear Singaporeans, they already became Singaporeans. Very cheap. So this is what is happening, and we are seeing ourselves moving in the right direction. And that to me is the most important thing. Of course, everything else that the federal government has expedited and carried out and executed over the past 3 years, you can see the RTS is finally completing. I'll tell you another little story about RTS. The RTS was planned during Najib era. It was planned during Najib era. So when I came in, I saw the proposal. Walao, ane kui. So expensive. Very big. And one of the biggest item, you know what? In the project, one of the single biggest item. This one might get me into trouble. Single biggest item there is the land purchase price.
Always.
You know who we have to buy the land from?
Yeah.
Don't say. But the next part of the story we'll have to say. Because after it was disclosed that we have to buy this land at this price from this person then bobin. This person then say, no, I'm not charging anything for this project. I will give the land away free. I didn't say who. The land that he secured from the state government before he sell to the federal government. That's how it works over here, you all know. So he got it, the price down, the project runs, and now it is near completion. It's near completion. I think it's completing next year, is it? Operating within 6 months. By next year, it will be running already. Then we have got our electric train service coming down to JB, 4.5 hours, very comfortable. I would take that. When we have the Shuttle Selatan that was just launched, being creative to provide additional transport opportunities for the people in Johor with whatever facilities that we already have. So these are things about competence. These are things about people who are in their position. Our Saudara SG, Saudara Anthony Loke, who is a transport minister, who is doing actual work. And unfortunately, in this day and age, people who are actually doing work and talking less don't make the headlines. Nobody share viral news about Anthony Loke launching ETS or Shuttle Selatan. Not viral one, boring. But Akmal there, make noise, whole world know. Or if there's fake news that Anthony Loke has a mistress, confirm viral. I say fake news, I say fake news, so viral. But that's the world that we live in. It applies not just in Malaysia, it applies across the world. And that's why it's very important for people who are rational, who can still think straight, who can still discern between fake news and real news, to put in the extra effort to persuade those that are easily susceptible by all this viral stuff, to tell them the country is doing okay. Country is doing well, more than okay. Yes, as what perhaps Saudari B may touch on later, there are aspects that we still need to improve. There are things that Anwar Ibrahim promised that we have not delivered yet. But what about the many things that we have already delivered? That should count for something. You don't want to go and elect a government that hasn't delivered anything, that has done poorly in the last 60 years before this, and kick away a government in a short time that has delivered many things that we have been asking for the longest time. It's better to keep this government and keep pressing them to improve further than to change them and go to another government that you know cannot perform. You want Wee Ka Siong back as a transport minister? You don't want. When we cut down the cost of ECRL from 55 billion to 35 billion, after he became transport minister, he boosted back up to 50 billion again. That's the type of minister you have if you go to BN. And same thing in Johor, while it doesn't affect the federal government, I can tell you if BN win big this time, UMNO will pull the brakes from unity government, force an election so that Zahid Hamidi can be the next prime minister of Malaysia. And that is very real. That, to me, is the thing that still gives me nightmares at night. I sleep very well, but when I hear Zahid Hamidi become prime minister, I wake up. I wake up. No? Don't believe whatever he say. He's the single biggest bullshitter in the country. Okay? If you don't know a little history, I'll just end on this anecdote before I take up the entire 3 hours of the session. Long time never talk, so talk a lot. In 2011, that time Zahid Hamidi was the deputy prime minister and home minister. I think he was the deputy prime minister to Najib. Yes, he was the deputy prime minister. I sued him for defamation. You might not remember because they don't like to report this type of things very much, unless I lose. I sued him for defamation. You know why I sued him for defamation? Because in the newspaper, he openly declared he got evidence. Openly announced in the press report, big. He has evidence. Tony Pua is a Singapore spy. I sued him. He apologized in court. he paid costs. He chose to settle up because he know he cannot win. He paid costs. He had to apologize in court. This is the type of prime minister you will get if you are not careful. It's the guy who can be worse than Trump. And it's very difficult to be worse than Trump. Zahid Hamidi can be worse than Trump because he simply tembak one. Just like Trump. So we cannot be complacent. We have to work hard. We have to work extra hard these days because the tide sentiment is, like it or not, against us. Despite the good that we are doing. But in order to defend where we are, we must always fight. We must always tell people, do our best. And if we do have a setback, we get up, we fight again. And that's the spirit that I always believe. Like Kit Siang, he lost, he got up, he fought again. He lost, he got up, he fought again. And that's why we managed to achieve 2018. Same thing will continue. Malaysia will not become perfect overnight. Malaysia will only become better if the people of Malaysia continue to fight for what you deserve. Thank you very much.
So, thank you, Saudara Tony Pua, for his sharing it. I learned a lot from the slide, so I do hope you guys all learn. I do hope those people at home watching the live session also learn a lot from here. I shall now pass the mic to our Dunjo Jai candidate, Ms. Lee Wen Ying.
Hi everyone, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Lee Wen Ying, the candidate for Johor Jaya. So I was involved politics since 2018. So let's talk about the economics. For Johorian, we have been waiting for so long for a better transportation, public transportation. And today, we finally have the ETS that connecting the rest of the peninsular Malaysia. And also within the 6 months, we will have the RTS that link Johor Bahru and also Singapore. Throughout the better transportation, we can create more opportunities, stronger businesses, and also the better quality of life. So, Johor Bahru and Johor, we are enter a new era of growth. So let's imagine what will happen in the next 5 or 10 years. I can see the potential. This is not just a dream because this month, our Minister of Transportation, Anthony Lok Silfok, already launched the Southern, the shuttle Southern, the commuter. They're connecting between the JB Central, Kulai, and also the Kempas and Pasir Gudang. Previously, the commuter for Kempas and between the Kempas and also Pasir Gudang, they just for cargo train. But now, they are allowed passengers to take the train. So this connect all the cities in the Johor Bahru. So I believe that if we have a better transportation, we can have more opportunities to attract more investment to JB. Another things that I would like to share is according to the IMD, the World IMD Competitiveness Ranking, Malaysia is the 15th in the world, and it's climbed up by 8 places from last year. And also, Malaysia is the number 1 in the Asian country by 5 consecutive years. So this one show the progress of Malaysia is at the right path. So I believe that, and I also can see the potential of the Malaysia. So let's keep the right momentum that can create more opportunities and also the better economics for Malaysia and also for Johorian. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lee Wen Ying. Let's hope that she wins. in less than 2 weeks' time. All right, so we look forward to you as our Ardun of Jojai. I've been with Jojai since 2013. I've been helping the Ardun since 2013, and yeah, so our current exiting Ardun has passed the torch to Lee Wen-ying, as she has entrusted Lee Wen-ying as her PA for 8 years. Right, so she's very experienced. She knows everything about the constituency, and I believe she deserves to win. So I would like to pass the mic now to Saudara Andrew Chen, who happens to be the incumbent for Dun Stulang, and he's also defending the seat. So I'm sure pass the mic to you now.
Hello, yeah. Thank you, Saudara Tony, Yiing and Wen-ying. And hello, ladies and gentlemen. 大家好. So I am Andrew Chen, can call me Chen Jian also. And I'm contesting for Stulang seat for the 4th consecutive time and defending for the 3rd consecutive time. Hopefully you all can keep on supporting us and giving me the fresh mandate to keep on to keep serving the people and to continue to voice out for the people. And of course, we need your help also to make sure Wen-ying can win the election. Can or not? Johor Jaya, I'm Stulang, near the border. So I just want to emphasize one point here. Actually, we have a fair fighting chance, right? Don't be too pessimistic. So the most critical factor is the vote. The turnout. With high turnout, we have fair fighting chance and we can make it. Do you believe or not? Let me share with you the figures. Okay, for 2018, Barisan Nationals got approximately 600,000 of votes in Johor. 600,000. So 2022 state election, March, yeah, with low turnout, they also very similar, 600,000, less than that, slightly less than that. And 2022, November, with so high turnout, Barisan Nationals votes also about 600,000. Clear or not? Clear with these figures? And for Pakatan Harapan, 2018, yeah, with the momentum and wave, we had garnered 800,000 of votes. Pasuan, 800,000. And 2022, March, state election only. Yeah, with low turnout because of COVID, border was closed. Then we only got 400,000 votes. But with higher turnout, 2022, November, we got back 800,000 of votes. So it's much more higher than 600,000 where Barisan Nasional gets. So the most important factor is that high voter turnout will create miracle. Believe me or not. So ladies and gentlemen, please come out to vote. Please explain to your people. Please ask your family members, children, overseas, Kuala Lumpur, anyway, to come back to vote in order to prevent the green wave from spreading to the whole nations. Because now you understand, right? PAS is cooperating with BN. Tuan Ibrahim is obviously asking people to vote for BN if there's no Perikatan Nasional candidate. Correct or not? So this is a way of their cooperation that we should stop them from spreading this kind of political alliance. If not, if you don't come back to votes, then if they win big, then this formula will spread to the whole nations. This is what we don't want to see. Can or not, ladies and gentlemen? So we have a fair fighting chance. Ask people to come back to vote, yeah, to push up the turnout as many as possible, so that we can make miracle. And of course, and also of course, me and Wen-ying and a few of the candidates. And for your information, also, we had clean sweep for 2022 November for all the states. For 2018, we have clean sweep for all the state seats in Southern Johor because of a high turnout. And also, I think most of you know that and understand that, and we as Southern Region's elected reps, we keep on and we're always advocates on the cross-border issue, on cross-border economies, and we as the Southern Johor candidate and elected reps, hopefully in futures, we will keep on advocating on this, so that I think most of us have friends and families working in Singapore, and also and also are frequent travelers to Singapore through and flow. So we will keep on advocating on these issues for the benefit of the people. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, so finally, okay. All right, so yeah, we have the candidates need to campaign, so I guess we need to take some photos first, okay, before they leave. So,
Take a look.
yeah, turn it.
Camera.
Let's see. Oh.
Okay. Yay! Okay, Johor ke depan, undi harapan. One, two, three. Johor ke depan, undi harapan.
Johor ke depan, undi harapan. Johor ke depan, undi harapan. Okay.
See you again. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Let us give them a round of
Yeah.
applause.
Okay, so we thank our candidates for coming tonight. It's not an easy thing to do because the schedule is very tight. I mean, they have to go everywhere to campaign. They're here for us. So I think last but not least, before going to our Q&A session, I shall pass the mic to YB Yiing, who's our Member of Parliament of Puchong.
Thank you, Sean and Tony, and ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. So good to see all of you today because as I was, we were posting up the poster, I was like thinking, still got people come or not? Still got people support us or not? I am so happy to see so many of you on a Tuesday night. You still brave the traffic, come and listen to us. Is it? Okay. Listen to us, and I'm also very touched to see again Tony come up from retirement, helping us to move forward. Can we give him a round of applause? Actually, just now what Tony has said, I want to continue from there, is that after this election, is going to decide on the next general election. This is not an ordinary state election. If UMNO wins big, they are going to quit the government, cause a collapse of the government, and we are going to the G. So that is basically the script. And therefore, as we think of what to vote in this election, we must also think that it is beyond who your adun is. It is also beyond who your MB will be or who form the government. Eventually, it will be about the country. And this is, a matter of fact, Johorian mission or Johorian responsibility to actually vote for a good outcome. And a lot of people then say, in the nation, yeah, the Prime Minister is not doing good. He doesn't do this, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do this. He's supposed to be like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this. So I think if you forget everything I say tonight, I hope you remember the first thing I say to you. You know why Tony come first before me? I told him, you must speak first because I become very naggy these days. I scared I took up all his time. So that is why I say you go first. And then because run out of time, I cannot be naggy. That is why he went first. So if there is, if to avoid myself become naggy, right, I will stop at 9:40. So don't worry. But usually at 9:40 or plus 5. Let's see. But anyway, if you forget everything I say today, actually, one message I want to tell all Malaysians, including those online, is this, is that election is not a subjective question. A lot of people go into exam, they can say, okay, what should the Prime Minister look like, your ideal Prime Minister? Then you can write, oh, he should be this. It's not true. Election, unfortunately, it's just like exam. It is an objective question. There must be an answer. You cannot select somebody that is not in your options. So, of course, we have 4 options right now. One, of course, Anwar Ibrahim. Second, Zahid Ibrahim, Zahamidi, and then Hadi Awang, and then Hamza Zainuddin. That is the 4, I have to get... So that is the 4 options you have. You cannot choose otherwise one. Even you say, I want to choose third force, but the third force cannot win enough vote. So for you to choose third force would be for you to give to one of those people that's less desirable. So the first message I want to bring home to all of you is that election is an objective question. As a voter and as a political party, we must see and act to see who among these and help who among these we want to be Prime Minister. So the second message, the second context I want to bring you before I go into all the other details is that in Malaysia, our electoral system is called first past the post system. What it means is that, okay, for example, who is a Johor Jaya voters here? Can I have a raise of hand? Johor Jaya, Stulang? What about the others? Kota Iskandar? Putri Wangsa? Tiram? Lakin? Machang? So we have all this. So you have all these different voters. You vote differently at different constituency. You vote. So eventually one person will win, right? So one person will win, let's say, for example, Barisan 16,000 votes, Pakatan Harapan 15,000 votes, and then we have a Green Party 6,000 votes. Of course, we have a third force by 4,000 votes. So in the event that there is no third force, who will win in this fight? We will win, because 4 plus 15, 19. That is the reason why that, let's say, for example, if you think the red is not the most desirable option, okay? The yellow is most desirable option. But of your choice of selecting the yellow, you eventually select who? You get the blue to win the seat. That is also the reason why we say in the first past the post system, we must, progressive votes must concentrate and put all the eggs into one basket. Otherwise, you will lose every seat, although you have vote shares. This is why we call first past the post system. Of course, if this system fair or the other electoral system better, that is the topic of another day. Because now we are going to an election with first past the post system. So what is the result of first past the post system? Then you will look at PRN last Johor election. Last Johor election, BN get only 43% of the vote share, and PH 26, PN 24, and MUDA 3.5. But eventually, can you see the seat outcome? That BN with 43% of vote share actually get 40 seats above two-thirds majority. Plus 2. Their two-thirds is 38, but now 40. That is the reason why I would like to urge all of you and all your friends, or all the people who believe that you believe in progressive value, in inclusive value, in the development. Therefore, I hope that I propose that you will vote for Pakatan Harapan. Because only us have the chance to beat the blue in every seat, in those seats that we contest. So if you choose the others, it will just not change anything, but bring the least desirable outcome for you, which is to bring BN back to power. They will win super majority if we split our votes. Okay, this is a scenario. I want to put, this is a number. I just use Perling as an example. Perling example, why? Because this one is assuming the number of voters did not increase, does not increase, which is not true. But you just assume that it's the same number of voters, and the additional voters, their proportional, their leaning, their voting leaning is the same. Therefore, then you can simulate this, that if in the scenario 1, because now PN strategically not contest in some seats. Okay, why? Because then conservative votes go to BN. So there is a backdoor deal behind. So let's say, for example, because in Perling, PN is not putting up any candidates. Or there's no Perling voters here. In Perling, nobody. So assume that the PN votes that used to vote for PN, now 80% will go to BN because they are conservative in nature. So many of them will vote if they come out to vote, and 20% to PH. If you look at this, if PH voter share gets split, if it doesn't get split, we are still safe, we still whole. If it gets split 10%, BN would win Perling. Can you see? And then eventually, what you want to tell PH is it doesn't help the thing. Eventually, who would win? BN would win. The conservative force would win. So this is just a simulation to illustrate how splitting of votes will help BN to reach supermajority in first past the post system. So a lot of people then say, "Hiya, never mind lah. You become government also not good lah. Let other people become government." So as an MP, I'm here to tell you, yes, indeed, we are not perfect. We are definitely not perfect, but there are things that we have done. So I would like to share with you today. In terms of institutional reform, a lot of people say, last time you fly the flag on institutional reform, you never do. Actually, we do quite a bit of it. So I would like to introduce you some of these, but we are not going to go down like really like in detail. We have actually brought the Fiscal Responsibility Act, we amend Audit Act, we have new laws, Government Procurement Act, Government Service Efficiency Commitment, and Parliament Services Act. And allow me to explain a little bit in detail. Just now, Tony has this slide as well. Fiscal Responsibility Act. Because for the longest time, people in power simply spend money. Anwar is the first prime minister, put out a bill to limit its own power to simply spend money. That is Fiscal Responsibility Act, in short, is to prevent government or people in power simply spend money. It sets a budget deficit limit, it sets a government debt limit, it sets a financial guarantee, which Tony Paul likes to talk about long time ago, financial guarantee limit, and it also gives a minimum of how much you should spend on development. So the overall, just now Tony has said, our budget deficit actually went down because we have a responsible Prime Minister and government, and even put out an act to make sure future government also are a responsible one. The other one, we amend Audit Act. Audit Act for the longest time, 30 over years, nobody amended it. 30 over years. But we amended it in, I think, 2 years ago, that we will expand the National Audit Department. We use the principle of follow the public money. Now, National Audit Department can actually audit 1,856 entities compared to 900 plus. What? Then people say, what is the return? Or what is the outcome of all this? Last year, after this come into force, last year alone, the Auditor General actually announced that through the Act, through the new Act and new clause in the Act, we actually successfully collect 159 million ringgit of people's money back to government coffer to use for better use for development and for schools, for hospitals. This is real change and real money. What about Government Procurement Act? Government Procurement Act also another act to prevent government simply spend money. Why? Because now you want to buy something, you must open tender. You have to open tender by default. So you cannot simply say, I want to direct award. If you want to direct award, you have to go through a lot of processes to go to get a direct award. And the other one, direct subcontracting. I don't know if you remember the time. When I remember the time when I go to Sarawak, I go to some rural places, I see the abandoned project circuit. Right? We asked why there is project circuit. It's because why? The subcon cannot finish. Why? Because the contractor gets the pay. Then they subcontract out. Not one layer. Then they subcontract out. Then they subcontract out. Then they subcontract out. Until eventually, the person that do the job doesn't really have the money to do the job. I have my cousin had a project, the subcon project, eventually don't get money. Why? Because the upper layer of subcontractor run out of money already. So, but with this law, you cannot give direct subcontracting. And of course, there's appeal tribunal. Let's say, for example, if you lose a bid, you lose in an open tender, you lose a tender, you can even go and complain that this tender is not fair, and this appeal is open to the public. All right? So reporters also can go. So Government Service Efficiency and Commitment Act. This one is what? This one is like this. We always complain. We go to the government agencies. Why? Then we feel very frustrated because very bureaucratic. A lot of rules, different types of rules, right? So this act, which haven't come into force, because we just passed and then it will take some time to come into force, this act would require the government to cut regulations minimum 25% every 3 years. And then a one-to-one principle. That means if you want to add a new regulation, you must remove another one. And then we have parliament reforms. We passed the Parliament Service Act. We have a Parliament Select Committee to make government, to provide stronger oversight to government. And then we allow debate or ministerial reply for Suhakam and Auditor General reports. This Parliament Service Act, I want to emphasize here. Parliament Service Act was a long time ago enacted in 1963. But 30 over years ago, in 1992, when UMNO has got its hegemony, that means UMNO ruler, that time they repealed it. So that the parliament essentially become the rubber stamp. Whatever the executive put out, you have a rubber stamp. Because why? Money come from there. Parliament's money and budget come from the executive. And the parliament, the people that handles the parliament are civil servants. If they are government servants from the government of the day. If the person that you get paid from is actually your boss, is actually the person you want to provide oversight, would you be very strict to them? No, you just want to put the rubber stamp. That is the reason why we introduced Parliament Service Act. And again, this is only when Pakatan Harapan is in the government. Is that we push and we want to limit our own government power so that Parliament make government accountable and we have a separation of power between executive and legislative. This is very boring, so I must finish it. For the children, for the ladies here, we care very much about our children. And do you know that this government is, I think, the government that table the most amendments to help protect our children. And these are the three. And to tell you the truth, Sexual Offences Against Children Act, in these 3 years only, is being amended 3 times already. So we do not only care about economy like Tony Pua, we also, not only institutional reform, no, he is also very caring, but we also cares a lot about the children who has no voice and no votes. And only a government that's caring enough would do that. So, and of course, there are more. We also passed the bill, historic bill, because for the longest time, Malaysia actually criminalized suicide. This one nearby is what river? What river nearby here? No river. Okay, if you want to commit suicide, what do you do? No, never think about that, right? Let's say, for example, you climb up, you want to commit suicide. Then suddenly somebody come and say, hey, don't commit suicide, don't commit suicide. Then if the police come, you are actually, if the police charge you, you are actually against our Kanun Keseksaan, Penal Code, because you commit suicide. Commit suicide also cannot. Last time, actually, you can be jailed and fined. So we are the government that decriminalize suicide. Oh, of course, I think many of you did not read it on a newspaper, but actually this is the one, because it doesn't catch a lot of attention. It's just become a headline and then it passed. So a lot of people don't think that, don't know about this. So actually we decriminalize suicide because we believe that those who want to commit suicide need rehabilitation and recovery and not charging and be criminalized. Of course, the other one that we promised before the last election was to give citizenship to the children, to the babies that's born abroad by a Malaysian mother. It used to be, long time ago, until we changed the constitution, only the babies born to the father, Malaysian father, can be conferred citizenship automatically. If you are a lady or a woman, Malaysian woman, if you have a non-Malaysian or foreign husband and you have babies outside of Malaysia, they do not get citizenship automatically. So before the last election, we say, okay, we promise that we will do it, and sure enough, we actually have the Constitution Amendment on giving the same right to men and women so that their children being born abroad can be conferred citizenship automatically. Of course, we have Anti-Bullying Act. This is 6 months, record-breaking, a lot. Okay. Again, I think great mind thinks alike. I always like to say me and Tony same, which is actually not the same. greater. Okay, but anyway, it's really this cup that we are looking. Is it half full or half empty? Sometimes we just hope that it gets full, but it just doesn't work that way. It takes a long time, but we are trying to do a lot of things in a very, very short span of time. Of course, for the progressive values, the government, actually for the past 4 years, we have spent and allocated 400 million for non-Islamic places of worship. And then we also really good in holding concerts. I'm not sure if you know. Actually, last year, there were 450 concerts being held in Malaysia. That means every day more than one. And that because we also reduced the entertainment tax for the overseas tourist artists, 25% to 10%, and then for local artists, not 100% tax, 100% exemption, so zero tax. And then what do we earn? 1.72 billion ringgit. So a lot of economic activities that come from the concert economy. So give you a very clear example, the Rain Rave Music Festival. Of course, this gentleman, of course, say a lot of things about it, all this, but eventually the government hold up to the pressure of the conservative force in Malaysia and let this music festival go on. And what is the result to the economy? We spent 11 million ringgit to sponsor this Rain Rave, 4 million from the industry. What is the return, economic multiplier? 392 million. And what is the ROI? 36x. So what other better investment than this? And the government is willing, as long as something that, can make money, practical, we do that. All right? So, of course, this one, Coldplay. Any of you know Coldplay here? I just pretend I know, actually I don't know. But apparently it's a very famous band. I very China, I listen to all Chinese songs. I know 五月天 more. But anyway, so when Coldplay wants to come and play, what does PAS say? Conservative force, hey, cancel the Coldplay concert. What did our Prime Minister do? Our Prime Minister actually do a video to welcome them to Malaysia. So this is going against the conservative force. This is not just talking, it's really standing their ground, not because he's being progressive and practical, knowing that this will bring return to the country. So I would like to remind all of us of UMNO hegemony. I would like to remind you of the time before 2018 when one person can get so much from the government coffer. Because why? Absolute power corrupt absolutely. And I want to bring back this. Do you all still remember? Still remember or not? Yes. After GE18, we watched the TV. Why? Wow, so nice. Wow, so many bags. You know what is this bag? This one is an orange box. Inside, there's what? There's Hermes. These are all the Hermes signature bags, yeah? Signature box. Oh, you see, 所有的金银珠宝 jewelries, cash, everything come from Najib's house. And there is one picture that I can never forget is this guy. Do you also remember him? Have you all seen this? This is 中国报啊，中国报记者有来吗？今天没有啊，就来啊。This is a 中国报摄影师，the cameraman. Wow, very heavy ah. What is inside? Jewelries, cash from a sitting prime minister office, house, residence. So that was the time, 2018. 2018 is not a very good time. It's all of us, especially Johorian. Long time, every time vote for MCA. This time, vote for a change. And that's what we can. We know that a sitting prime minister has so much of cash and jewelries and bags. How much is it? Put a value, 1.1 billion ringgit. What is 1.1 billion ringgit? If you buy MyV, you got 22,000 MyV. If you have an affordable house, 300,000, you can give to 3,667 people. If you want to give good, talented students scholarship, you get to give 100,000 each student, 11,000 of them. That is the magnitude of what is inside the house. Outside of it, I'm not very sure. So eventually we get Najib conviction just end of last year, 809 page that say Najib made Attila the Hun look like a choir boy. Yeah, so they found guilty and 165 years of jail. Of course, you do it concurrently, it's 15 years, and then 11.4 billion fine. Those were the time. So because we all believed in change, and that we voted and went all out, get our friends, get our family, get our children, grandchildren to come back and vote, we get to see justice being done in Malaysia. For the longest time, Malaysians don't believe in justice anymore. But because of this, we start to believe there is still justice in Malaysia. Democracy still work in Malaysia as long as we don't give up. Of course, then it bring us back to Johor. Your MB say what? Johor UMNO says Najib still deeply missed. And for those of you who actually have an MCA candidates in your constituency, they are really nice guys. I know they are nice guys. They probably serve you. They give you. But look at this. MCA urges members to attend solidarity rally for who? For Najib. So it is not only about who you want to be seeing around in your coffee shops, pasar malam. It's about what is right and wrong for this country. Which direction is right and which option, A, B, C, D, is best for the country. So I don't leave this to you. What Winston Churchill said, perfection is the enemy of progress. Perfection is the enemy of progress. A lot of people, after we become government, want the Prime Minister, PMX, to be the perfect man he could ever be. Even in a coalition government like us, we are not a government by ourselves. We want the Prime Minister to be the perfect man. But no man can be perfect and no government can be perfect. But there are progress. So we spend the whole night, 5 minutes late already. But we make progress. If there is one thing that you want, I hope that you go back and know is that we made progress. We made progress, and perfection is the enemy of progress. If you want today to say, okay, never mind, you all not meet my expectation, I stay at home, I vote for third force, I do this, I do that. Eventually, what is going to happen is we will bring back UMNO hegemony. And that is what they want. Because an UMNO hegemony will allow them to 只手遮天. Understand? One hand hold the whole sky. So to allow them to 为所欲为, it means whatever they want to do, they can do. So we cannot. So if there is one thing that that we need to know is that maybe this round when we vote, perhaps I want to propose to all the people, voters of Johor, to vote thinking that this is an election that matters to the country, that will eventually decide who is the ABCD. and that the country has made some progress, although it's not perfect. And that I also hope that all of you here will see the harapan and bangka. Can or not? Can or not? We must move forward and not backward. That is the reason this slogan for this election is Johor ke depan. Why? We don't want to go back to UMNO hegemony. Do you want to go back to UMNO hegemony? Do you want to go back? No. Although it is imperfect, we must move forward. That is why we have Johor ke depan undi. Johor ke depan undi. Johor ke depan undi. Thank you. With that, I'd like to thank you and maybe we'll open for discussion.
Thank you, YBOB. We are kind of short of time, but we do have some time for some Q&A session. So, are there any questions? Anyone has some questions to ask our panelists? Could raise your hands. Any questions?
Yeah, so good evening, everyone. Actually, my voting area is Dun Bulokasawa. So I'm from Sekamat. I same hometown with YB. So actually, I'm quite relieved when I heard Tony say that our economy is quite doing well. To me, as a Johorian, especially as a younger generation, most of us are working most of my friends are working in Singapore. So I also feel less confident to Malaysia, whether we are still okay or not. But after I heard that, okay, still fine. So although most of the people are saying that we are doing very well, but in terms of when it comes to elections, and based on the current political situations, economy may not the main convincing card to play to win the votes. But most of the oppositions or the conservative are playing the racial card. So just wondering for YB and also for Tony or for the candidate Adun, so what would be the strategy to how to fight against these racial cards? By tearing economies, yeah, seems works, but most of the people will not have that deep feeling. But racial play a very big role, especially for conservative. Yeah, maybe I can have your opinions.
Yeah, perhaps we can give 2 more questions so we can answer in one round. Any more questions? We have so many people.
If you want to have voter to turn out, I think the last election, some people organize free transport. Are you going to work on this again?
Right. One more question. Any more questions? Come on. Anyone can ask questions here. Okay.
Can I speak in Mandarin? OK， 其实我想问的是，我很好奇啦，就是国会议员的选举拨款，为什么李建聪议员会讲他选举拨款被 cut 掉？我想问这个问题，谢谢。
Right, so I just give the mic to you.
I've retired. To the young man's question, the question of race and religion in Malaysia, the conservative force, how do you change their mind? The honest answer is with a lot of difficulty. Can it happen? It happened. It happened. If it hadn't happened, if not enough minds changed, we would never have made 2018 happen. No, Lim Kit Siang, we all, I don't know whether the younger ones know Lim Kit Siang or not, but I'm sure the older ones here all know Lim Kit Siang. He struggled since the late 1960s. And he faced the exact same issue. No change. The issue remains the same: race, religion, race politics, religious politics. all comes into the picture. And for him, never in his wildest dreams, he thought a change of government was possible in his lifetime. It happened, 2018. So from 2018 till now, pretty much we are in a state of flux. That means the transition period. And this transition period can be a while. How long, I don't know. But it's never going to be short. Because people don't become clever overnight. But if you keep working on it, and I will again use Lim Kee Siang as an example because it's really the perfect example for this. He kept working on it tirelessly, non-stop, selflessly, without expectation of an actual change in government. He and many other leaders made it happen. We crossed the line by first bringing down a hegemonic government, a one-party rule in this country. Now elections are contested. We can win, we may lose, but it is contested. In the past, it was one-sided, 一边倒. In the past, it was 一边倒. So things have moved, things have changed, and we need to keep having that same Lim Kee Siang fighting spirit to bring it to a level where we know the people will vote for the right party all the time. All the time. To prove to them that should Pakatan Harapan, the same spirit, the same way of us running things, the same competency remains within the coalition and the party, voters will start moving over to vote for us. Of course, at some point in time, we become big and powerful, we become corrupt and all, then voters will vote, these people are corrupt, we need a new government. And when voters reach that maturity, then you know that the country will keep moving forward. So it will take time. For myself, when I first joined politics in 2008, my objective very simple. I'm not Lim Kee Siang, but I want to put in my effort, I want to put in my time to make a difference. Whether it's 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, doesn't matter. I want to put in my time to make a difference, lay a few more bricks in the bridge that we are building. That Lim Kee Siang, my seniors have all been building, they've been building, lay a few more bricks, and then bring up more stupid people like Yobin to continue building the bridge. So that I can hand over the baton to the next generation. And at some point, the bridge will get built. So it's because of this passing the baton, the younger people coming over and continuing the fight, that changes can happen. And that's the reality of the situation. No, you are not going to be able to change the Conservatives' mind overnight. It will take time. That's why a Prime Minister from Pakatan Harapan may be elected overnight, but he still have to deal with these people. Cannot run away one. You cannot just do whatever you want. You have to take in consideration consequences. So you do it step by step. And that's how we move forward. And to me, that's the most important spirit, just like what I said before. If we keep fighting, we will get there. There will be setbacks. There will absolutely be setbacks. You know, if you look back in history, I wrote Kee Siang's, I wrote one of Kee Siang's many books, you know, about Kee Siang, and I went through his history profile. He had so many setbacks. It's amazing that he didn't give up. He had some really terrible ones, not only from outside, from within his party as well, within DAP as well. The party essentially almost collapsed, and yet he just continued resolutely to push forward, to make changes and to rebuild, and that's how we got to where we are today. Imagine if he didn't. So same thing for the next generation of leaders. There will be setbacks, there will be electoral results that we don't like, there will be Sabah, where you get wiped clean and you wake up because of that. But we must learn from these setbacks, get up, and then move on and keep fighting again for the next day. I think that's what we need to learn. That history don't change overnight. History is made over decades.
Usually it's okay. This cannot be paid by us. A political party cannot pay tambang to come back and all that. So maybe an NGO, what we can help NGO to promote and facilitate the comeback of the people to come back to vote. So if there is any of your friends that need help and cannot come back through public transport or whatever, you can always call the Bilik Gerakan and see what arrangement they have. Usually the respective duns or constituencies, they will have some arrangement, especially from KL, Singapore, big cities. The last question is a very good question. You have an answer? he retired, so long rested, so long already.
Okay, the system we have, okay, like it or not, is allocation goes to your government ruling parties, ruling party MPs. So I know of the complaint you have. If you ask me, should every MP get allocation? In principle, yes. But the system we have at the moment is ruling parties get the allocation. So these people who are complaining now were very happy with it when they were in the ruling party. But now that they decided not to be in the ruling party, they start making noise. So that's the only thing I can say to that. The system in place today is allocations for the ruling party MPs. No, by right, it should be for everyone. But that's not the system. Just that these same people who are now making noise, they were not making noise when they were happily receiving that benefit. So it's the pre-existing system, whether in the federal government or the state government, it's something that will need probably a bit more time to change and persuade. There was an attempt to change it in 2018, but it got what do you call it? There was resistance among some of the leaders. So those are the things that will take time. Yeah.
Maybe I add a little bit. Now I know the answer already. Maybe I add a little bit on constituency funds. Why do we not have enough people to support equal constituency funds to oppositions and government? Because the Malaysian voters are still very much, Malaysia is still very much a retail, a country that functions on retail politics. That means I give you this project, I give you baku makanan and all this. So many constituencies, maybe it's not in Johor Jaya, but many constituencies in Malaysia still rely on, because I'm an incumbent, I get the funds and therefore I can stay elected. Because why? Because people see you, the YB give me 100 ringgit before, the YB came and give 2,000 ringgit after my mom passed away, or YB do this tangki air and all this, right? So this is a privilege where a lot of sitting government MPs don't want to give up. That is the reason why we still have this allocation only to the government MPs thing. Because we don't have enough people, that means more than 112, the 112 and above MPs that would say, let's go for equal funding. I hope that there will be a day that it will come. Yeah.
It's the same whoever became government. Once the other side become government, they won't go for equal funding.
And then we will make no trouble.
Okay, I think time is kind of up. So I really thank all of you for coming. It's so overwhelming. We didn't expect so many people to come. We expect very little people. I'm not going to say the amount, it's so embarrassing, but in reality, it's full and people are standing. So I thank you for coming. Please help our coalition Pakatan Harapan to campaign. Ask your friends from outside to come back and vote. Come back and vote. Ask those in Singapore to come back to vote. Or anywhere from Malaysia or even overseas, like me. I live in overseas. I'm back. Coincidentally, I have a summer break, so and this thing happened, so I'm helping the party again after 8 years, because I was stuck in China during COVID. So yeah, so after 8 years, I came back to campaign again. It was Undi Post in 2022. I'm back here, I'm going to vote, I'm campaigning. So I do hope people around the world, Malaysians, Johorians, not Malaysians, Johorians around the world to come back to vote. If you're eligible to vote, come back to vote. We need the votes. We don't just need to vote, we need people to attend and vote. The mic. So yeah. So once again, I thank all of you, all the attendees. I thank those who are viewing live online. I'm aware that there are many viewers. How many we have here? We do have like quite a significant amount of viewers. So thank you for coming, and goodbye. See you again.